having a good time, enjoyment too, setting the weekend mood right, and of course having great convos with you and bringing you amazing guests, people who are talented in their field, people who are spectacular, making good music, making good art. And we have someone just like that in studio. We have he's a singer, a songwriter, he's a sound engineer, he's a live performer. I can't even the CVs wow, just roll the whole thing.
Yes.
Modest Chabari, karibu sana to the Morning Fix.
Shukran for having me.
Yo, man, what's good, my fam?
I'm good. You?
Hey, niko fresh is tu sana.
Kabisa.
It's great to have you in studio, man.
Kabisa, I'm glad to be back here, man. He plays in a vibe all the time.
Nice.
We're so glad to hear that, man. We do try to make it as vibey as possible.
Sure.
I'll begin with your work began behind the scenes with the music industry,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
But you were always, I guess you always kind of knew you were going to be in the music industry. But what made you think, sound engineer, I can do this?
Well, it's a longer journey than that, because I've always been a producer for a very long time. I also do music for film as well. But then up until last year, that's when I was like, it's time for me to be an artist. I've been behind the scenes for the last 5-6 years. I have enough experience, connections, So now I was ready, but I've always had the passion for music since when I was a kid. But now it was time for me now to step up and become an artist as well,
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, man.
For sure.
When you're talking about all the things that you're doing in terms of music, man.
Yeah.
At what point did you actually get to a place where you're like, I love not just music, or not just producing music, but the intricacies of it? Because as a sound engineer, you're an engineer, bro.
For sure.
you're an engineer. Some people will hear sound engineer
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just think, what is it? Mambo zingine.
Yeah.
But it's a literal science, man.
Yes, it is.
And some people think creative people, na science.
Yeah,
Was that your story, or how did you get into that actually?
I think for me, I was struggling to find someone who can be able to interpret what's in my head. Because there's all these sounds, all these ideas that you have, but you don't know how to explain. So for me, I had to learn sound engineering, because I realized what matters is what comes out of those two speakers. So it was important for me now to learn the art itself of sound engineering, so that I'm able to translate what exactly all the ideas are in my head, so that now the people genuinely get to enjoy what you're creating in the way that will come envision in your head.
Nice.
You also mentioned doing movie scores. I know some pretty big stuff like click,
Yeah.
bang. To be fair, how do you get into movie scores? Because that's also something. To be honest, I'm thinking I've interviewed a lot of people, but never someone who makes movie scores.
Yeah, that one was actually chance, because when I was doing click bang, mind you, I've never gone to school to do film scoring. I'd never even done a movie even before. Yeah. So I just got a call from a friend of mine. He was like, yo, Kinafila looking for someone to do a score for their feature film. And all you need to do, they have a small, trailer for click bang. And they're like, if you ace it, you have the job. So after I did it, for me, I was surprised when I got the call from Phil. It was like, bro, you have the job. I asked him, you don't need to see my previous work. He's like, no, I trust you. I think you know what you're doing. I didn't at that time, but I think now my dad just said, just don't let them see that you don't know. Just make sure you ace that job. And even getting Kalasha nominations for that, it's crazy, man.
Amazing,
it's crazy,
man.
For sure.
I love that. There's the meme of like a kid in overalls that are too big for them. When you're not qualified for the job, but you learn on the job anyway, and you end up doing a great job.
Wow. That's what I had to do, for sure.
Wow. And when it comes to your musical journey, how would you describe yourself as an artist? Because you've been, termed with different genres from Afro to R&B, and there's some soulfulness about your music as well. How would you yourself, as somebody who understands the intricacies of music, describe it best?
I think, that's a very heavy question. But I think for me, my music, first, it has to have an impact. So I even struggle sometimes to categorize it into different genres, because then for me, the key thing is impact. So if it has impact, it's hit home.
I love that.
But if I was to say it, I think I love Afro. Anything Afro, I'm in. Count me in.
Nice.
Afro, electric, Afro beats, whatever, name it. I'm in. But also, I think as a producer, why that question is a bit hard is because I feel the responsibility of progressing the Kenyan sound.
Wow.
So no matter what I do, the one thing that's in the back of my head is you have the responsibility of taking over from where maybe watu kama kina Musiox, kina Clemo have done. And now it's my job to take it from there to another place so that the other generation now takes it and, you know, progresses it. So
takes it to the next level.
That's a brilliant answer, though. That's a brilliant answer.
For sure.
I think it's very evident in your sounds. You lean into towards the African sounds for sure. A little rumba here, a dash here. Are those influences that came either from your childhood or these are the things that you came across when you started producing?
Yes, I grew up listening to a lot of rumba thanks to my dad. So that has greatly influenced the sound that I pick up and dancehall as well, because now back when Kina Conscience are popping up, that's when we're in campus, Nini. So those two sounds have really influenced the kind of music that I do, you know, nowadays. And it's a great thought when, for example, when I see even now Kina Leswanyika trying to come back, like for me, I'm home, I'm happy.
The sampling everywhere. It's a good time to be, you know, making music, right?
It is. As a producer, it's great to know that now people are warming up to the old music that was happening, you know. Now we have this rumba trap, so for me, I'm happy. I'm so happy.
I think we'll go into the music and come back, discuss your new music that's come out, of course. You've got and your plans, of course, and get to even know you a little bit more, and maybe even get, you know, a sample of those vocals for us, just, you know, a little bit of an exclusive.
Yes, Norma.